Today, I'll be sharing 5 ways to simplify your life. This is series 7 out of a 10-part series. I hope you'll enjoy because these ways are psychological ways to make your life a whole lot better, and it will help you to navigate things thoughtfully and not sweat the small stuff.
The Nacola for battles won. The Nacola is the one.
Sometimes we allow little things to take over our lives, and when you think about it, it is just that we are taking things too seriously, we are thinking too deeply, and we're making a big deal out of little situations. If we really examine the things that we are bothered by closely, we will realize that it is not relevant to sweat the small stuff. It is not important to get worked up about the simple things in life. It is important to let it go, free your mind so that you can move into wellness. You can move into getting your mind stronger. You can move into living a wholesome life. You can move into making the lives of those around you so much better when you don't sweat the small stuff, when you don't worry about the little things. And that is where I come in, because I am going to help you to see things from a different perspective so that you can live a more wholesome life. The first way in series 7 is to look beyond behavior. Have you found yourself stating that, never mind Mary Jane, never mind Mr. John, because they don't know what they're doing? Then you'd have gained the wisdom of looking beyond behavior. If you have children, then you would know very well of this simple act of forgiveness. If you base your love of your children's behavior, then it would be very, very difficult to love them and forgive them. And if love were based only on behavior, then none of us would really be loved as a teenager. But love should not be based on behavior. And not everyone will agree with what I'm about to say, but wouldn't it be nice to extend this kindness that you'd give to your children in spite of their behavior to everyone we meet? Wouldn't it be nice that when someone acts in a terrible way and in a way that is not nice or not kind, that we look beyond behavior and look at the person with a loving kindness and tender mercy, instead of being aggressive with everyone who come at us in a negative way? Since we are talking about behavior, I could highlight this, that recently in the Grammy, Will Smith slapped Chris Rock in the face, and it became a national news. Didn't sit too well with many people. At the same time, if we look beyond behavior, we will be very forgiving of the person, because technically there is a reason and there is something happening internally, and the person may be crying out for help. He may be crying out for help why he did that. I am not condoning his behavior, but I'm saying this is something we normally teach our preschooler, not to hit anyone, right? And no one should be hitting them. So if a grown man with children and a family hits someone else who is an adult, someone who is intelligent, someone who is in the limelight, you may ask yourself, what else is going on inside of the person? Where did he learn that behavior from? What is psychologically affecting him at this time? And people will say, okay, he's a narcissist, and they will say this, but that behavior is an underlying behavior, and it is coming from somewhere. So maybe we should look beyond behavior. When our children slap other kids at school, we normally ask them to say sorry, and then we look beyond the behavior. And a very short moment after that, we continue to love our child as if they did nothing wrong. Now, even though he's an adult, maybe we should look beyond behavior. Maybe we should look at being more forgiving of the behaviors of those around us. knowing that all of us have been in situations that would really drain us and affect us psychologically. Number 2 is to see the innocence. See the innocence. One of the most frustrating things in our lives at the moment is not being able to understand the people around us. We see them as guilty more than we see them as innocent. What has trained us to think in a negative way towards those around us so much? Is it television that has caused this? What has caused this kind of behavior? That even though we have done wrong in our lives, we will see others doing wrong and we will condemn them instead of saying, okay, something else is going on. What else is going on? How can we get to the bottom of this? How can we help the individual to grow and to learn? What has caused this kind of behavior? And the woman that was caught in the act of adultery, when she sinned and everyone was about to stone her, Jesus wrote on the ground and he stated, "He who is without sin, cast the first stone." Are we blameless? Are we without sin? Are we faultless? And why is it so difficult if we are not? Why is it so difficult for us to forgive the behaviors of others? Why is it so hard for us to see people as innocent rather than see them as guilty? Many adults these days are down on teenagers when they act a certain way. But seeing the innocence is a transformational way of stepping out of a situation when someone does something that is wrong or not according to what we like. Or let me just say, when someone does something that we don't like, it is important for us to step back and look at the behavior from a distance to understand why the person really is behaving in the manner that they are behaving. And in this way, we are better able to assess what is going on instead of condemning that individual. Very often, this slight shift in our thinking immediately puts us in a state of having more compassion. When you're not so frustrated by the actions of others, you will see the beauty in life. Number 3 is to tell 3 people today how much you love them. And you know what? I wonder how many people have been on the receiving end of a phone call or in person visit with someone saying, "I love you. I just love you. I love what you're doing. I love who you are. I love you. In spite of the problems you're having, in spite of the difficulties that may be happening in your life, I love you purely and unconditionally." It says, "I love you." But if you're too shy to say that over the phone or in person, the very best thing is to write a heartfelt letter letting the individual know how much you love them. Number 4 is to practice humility. And I must say that this is one of the hardest things that I have to do in this time. And the reason I say that, when you have to be fighting for your mom who is unable to speak for herself, then you will realize that it is a very hard thing to be humble because people are abusive, right? People are abusive, people are unkind, people are cold sometimes. And yes, I spoke about looking beyond behaviors. And if you look beyond their behaviors, you will see that you can only learn to love them. Humility and inner peace go hand in hand. And if you practice humility, you will realize that you will have more inner peace. When I practice this, naturally I'm a quiet person. Honestly, I don't love the camera, but I do come on the YouTube, the social media, the Facebook, the Instagram, just to let you know that there is something greater inside of you. And so practicing inner peace will help you to be humble, and being humble will help you to have inner peace. It is better to practice humility because proving yourself is a very dangerous trap. It takes an enormous amount of energy to be continually pointing out your accomplishments or bragging or proving yourself to be worthy to people around you. Being worthy does not come from a degree, a master's, a certificate, a diploma, or a PhD. It doesn't come from any of those things. Being worthy and humble is how we treat others that are around us. That's the most important thing. Being humble will teach us that people are more important than things. All right, so it is not relevant to be proving your accomplishments to anyone. The way to develop humility is to practice. And it's nice because you will get the inner feedback that will give you inner peace and calm. This is a 5th point in Series 7. We're almost finished with the series, and I hope that you are enjoying all of these. Now, the perfect thing is to put everything into practice. I am over here practicing myself, and so if you practice these, and you will, find out that life will be so much more easier for you, and you will live a life of peace. So number 5 is, when in doubt about whose turn it is to take out the trash, go ahead and take it out. If we're not careful, we can become bogged down, we can become resentful, for want of a better word, with those around us because of our daily living activities. But when you are in doubt of whose turn it is to do something and you're not sure, go right ahead and do it. It is really difficult to become contented with a person if you're keeping score of all that you do. You'll never be happy with those around you if you keep score of all that you do. And you will be in constant contention with those around you if you keep a score on all that you do. It will bring you more joy to know that your actions and what you have done will alleviate the life of a family member and make their life much more easier than just thinking about and counting the little things that you do and make a big deal out of them. Alright, so I hope you enjoy this series. I have something to share with you. Don't go yet. Make sure that you put all your comments in the comment section. Let me know what you think about this series and the points that I mentioned. Before I go, I want to introduce my first children's book. It is called Richard Wants a Moon. It is exclusively available on Amazon, and you can get your copy. It promotes brain development, imagination, and creativity. Get your copy now before it is sold out. It is going fast, and everyone is loving this book. I will just show you a few pages. That's the first page this book belongs to, and those are the credit pages, and it was illustrated by one of my friends, Lisa Davis, and I will show you this page. It is very wonderful, right? There you go. And go right now and get your copy. We have 3 more series to go for our 10-part series to be completed. Please let me know in the comment section your thoughts. I want to know who you are. Introduce yourself. I would appreciate it. Please remember that I offer memberships on my channel. Click join to view the perks and select from the best offer for you. And if there is something that you like that is not in the perks, you can email me and I will put it in the perks and serve you as best as possible. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I will see you in the next video. Take care.